Today, we're going to explore Roman amphitheaters, some of the most impressive and influential buildings of the ancient world. These structures weren't just places for entertainment, they were expressions of Roman society, politics, and engineering skill. From gladiator games and animal hunts to grand naval reenactments, amphitheaters shaped how Romans experienced public life and reflected the values of the empire. By looking at their design, social role, and technological innovations, we can better understand how these spaces connected people, reinforced hierarchy, and showcased the power and creativity of Rome.
So, what's the importance of Roman amphitheaters?
Roman amphitheaters are important because they show how architecture reflected and shaped Roman society. Unlike Greek theaters, which were semicircles built into hillsides, Roman amphitheaters were full circles or ovals, allowing audiences to see from every direction. This design created a shared experience. Everyone, regardless of background, could witness the same events. Amphitheaters were central to public life, hosting gladiator games, animal hunts, public executions, and naval battle reenactments. These events reinforced Roman values like courage, honor, and victory. Leaders used them to gain favor by providing free shows, food, and gifts. As the empire expanded, amphitheaters appeared across France, Spain, North Africa, and the Middle East, spreading Roman culture and demonstrating imperial power. They served as both entertainment spaces and political monuments.
And economic developments that promoted the creation of Roman amphitheaters.
Several factors contributed. Socially, Rome valued community. Public events brought people together, though seating reflected strict social hierarchy. Culturally, games symbolized different types of control: humans over animals, order over chaos, and Rome over its enemies. Politically, emperors used these events to maintain loyalty and stability, providing food and entertainment to keep citizens content. Economically, the empire's wealth, trade networks, and labor systems, including enslaved workers and soldiers, made large-scale construction possible. Amphitheaters also supported local economies by attracting merchants and travelers.
What technological developments promoted the development of Roman amphitheaters?
Roman engineering and materials were key. Roman concrete allowed massive, durable structures with arches and vaults supporting multi-level seating. Arched corridors, stairways, and vomitorium managed crowds efficiently, a design still used in stadiums today. Later, amphitheaters included hypogeums, which are underground chambers with lifts and trapdoors for animals, scenery, and performers. Some could even be flooded for naval reenactments. This combination of architecture and mechanics made amphitheaters some of the most advanced entertainment spaces of the ancient world.
Okay, so who were the most significant designers of Roman amphitheaters?
Roman architects and engineers like Vitruvius were well known for writing about architecture and the design principles that influenced amphitheaters. Emperors like Vespasian and Titus were also important because they sponsored the construction of the Colosseum, one of the most famous amphitheaters in Rome.
What architectural elements define Roman amphitheaters?
Amphitheaters were usually rounded or oval, so every spectator could see the action in the center. They had tiered seating that allowed thousands of people to watch at once, and they used arches and concrete construction to show off Roman engineering skills. Most were open-air designs with underground tunnels for animals and performers. Decorative stonework and columns reflected Roman artistic style and attention to detail. Overall, they were built as symbols of Roman power and entertainment in the community life.
The Colosseum is a widely known example of Roman architecture. What makes it an impressive example?
The Colosseum is an example of Roman architecture that combined massive scale, advanced engineering, and artistic design in a single structure. The Romans used a blend of concrete, travertine, marble, stone, and even timber, which made the Colosseum both strong and flexible. The Colosseum hosted a variety of spectacles, most famously gladiator fights and naval battles. It could hold up to 80,000 spectators, seated by social class, elites near the arena and ordinary citizens higher up. Though the games united the public, the social order remained clear. Many historians see the Colosseum as a political move by Emperor Vespasian, who built it to regain public support after Nero's unpopular rule and to build trust through grand entertainment.
Now, what were some of the characteristics of the design of the Colosseum?
One key feature was its stacked column system, Doric on the first level, Ionic on the second, and Corinthian on the third. The exterior also had 80 arched entrances that moved crowds quickly to their seats. 2 carried symbolic meaning: the Gate of Life for victorious gladiators and the Gate of Death for those who didn't survive. Beneath the arena was the hypogeum, a huge maze of tunnels, chambers, elevators, and holding spaces for performers and animals. Aqueducts could flood the floor for naval battles, and afterward, the water drained through the channels into the sewer system so the wooden stage could be reset. One element that didn't survive was the velarium, a retractable fabric roof that shielded spectators from the sun and weather.
After nearly 2,000 years, how has the Colosseum lasted?
The site that the amphitheater was built upon was a wetland with poor soil conditions. Therefore, it was necessary for builders to dig a deep foundation to stabilize the structure, and it remained standing because of the solid concrete construction. The Colosseum was a testament to Rome's might. The Romans built the Colosseum not just for entertainment, but as a lasting reminder of their power, creativity, and skill. There are multiple Roman amphitheaters that reiterate these traits, including the Amphitheater of Orange.
So, what's the historical background of the Amphitheater of Orange?
The Amphitheater of Orange is located in Orange, France, and was built during the reign of Emperor Augustus in the 1st century. It served as a major entertainment center for the Roman colony of Orange. After the fall of the Roman Empire, it was abandoned and later used as a fortress during the Middle Ages. Over time, it went from a showpiece to a refuge during the Wars of Religion, and later from a defense post to a prison during the French Revolution. It was finally restored in the 19th century when its cultural value was recognized.
What are the main architectural and design features of the theater?
The theater was mainly built from local limestone. The stage wall is about 103 feet high and 315 feet long, and it's one of the best preserved in the Roman world. And it helped project the sound with amazing clarity. The orchestra is a semicircle, typical of Roman theaters, and the seating area was built into a hillside for better acoustics and stability. It could hold between 8,000 and 10,000 people. The seating showed social order: nobles and knights in the front, citizens and merchants in the middle, and the slaves at the top.
So how did the Amphitheater of Orange represent Roman culture and its lasting influence?
The theater hosted tragedies, comedies, pantomimes that celebrated Roman myths and heroes. Romans believed entertainment could educate and unite people. A statue of Emperor Augustus stood on stage to remind the audiences of his power, and the center niche held a statue of Augustus, believed to be a restoration of Apollo, the god of arts and music. It was designed to spread Roman culture and distract people from political unrest. Today, it's still used for performances showing the lasting influence of Roman art, engineering, and culture in Europe. Similarly, the Amphitheater of Nimes had a lasting influence in Europe.
What's so significant about the Amphitheater of Nimes?
The Amphitheater of Nimes, it's one of the most well-preserved arenas from the Romans, and it's a remarkable example of Roman engineering. It was built at the end of the 1st century AD, shortly after the Colosseum in Rome, and it was made using local limestone. It originally hosted gladiator games and wild animal hunts that could hold around 24,000 spectators. What's unique about the Nimes is that it is the only amphitheater in the world with its top floor preserved, also known as the attic. Throughout history, the arena also served as a refuge during invasions. Its solid structure and design made it an ideal fortress to protect the people of Nimes when danger struck.
Can you tell us about the structure and design of the amphitheater?
The arena has an elliptical shape measuring 133 meters long, 101 meters wide, and 21 meters tall. Its outer facade features 2 stories of 60 arcades each, which are rows of arches supported by columns, and they create covered walkways. Above that sits the attic, which once supported the poles for the velarium, a huge awning that shaded the audience, and then you can still see the stones with holes on top of the facade where these poles were anchored. Inside the cavea, or the seating area, there's 34 rows that could accommodate up to 20,000 people. Beneath the seats lies a sophisticated circulation system that contains 126 staircases and galleries designed so spectators could easily find their seats. These vomitoriums, or passageways, allowed the arena to be filled and emptied very quickly. The seating was divided into 4 sections, and each one was reserved for a different social class. The amphitheater was also richly decorated with sculptures of bulls, a she-wolf referencing Romulus and Remus, and carvings of gladiators in battle.
And how has the amphitheater been used throughout history?
After the fall of the Roman Empire, the arena was transformed into a fortress by the Visigoths, which helped preserve it over the centuries. During the Middle Ages, it became a fortified village, complete with houses, wells, 2 churches, and even a castle, which all existed up until the 18th century. So, in 1786, as part of a city rehabilitation project, the village structures were removed and the amphitheater was restored to its former glory. By the 19th century, it had returned to being a venue for public events. Today, the Amphitheater of Nîmes remains a prestigious venue and it hosts a variety of events like concerts, historical reenactments, and bullfights. Visitors can take an audio-guided tour now to explore its architecture and history.
How does the architecture and design of the Roman amphitheaters relate back to modern architecture?
The innovations of the Romans became the foundation for modern sports arenas and stadium design. The Colosseum is still standing today despite suffering fires and even earthquakes, which speaks to the advanced construction. The Romans were pioneers of concrete, which allowed for curved walls, multi-level seating, and larger spans without timber. While stone and concrete supported the load of the Roman amphitheaters, stadiums today are constructed using steel, reinforced concrete, and tension roofs. However, the load paths mimic Roman vaultings to support the tiered seating.
What are some specific features seen in amphitheaters that have had a lasting impact on design today?
The bowl-shaped seating design is extremely recognizable and remains key in modern arenas. The reason is simple. The curved, tiered seating surrounds a central stage or field, maximizing visibility and improving acoustics. Because this approach works so well, it has essentially remained unchanged for nearly 2,000 years. Another major achievement was the crowd management systems. As previously mentioned, these buildings featured numerous entrances that allowed thousands of spectators to enter quickly and be guided to their seats. More importantly, the same systems allowed the arena to be empty within minutes after an event ended. Modern stadiums still rely on this idea, using multiple access points, corridors, and stair systems to move large crowds safely and efficiently. The engineering breakthroughs in design laid the groundwork for how we build and use stadiums today, proving that Roman innovation continues to shape public architecture across the world.
And how do we still see the influence of Roman amphitheaters in modern event spaces?
So, Roman amphitheaters were social mirrors that helped shape society and reflect social hierarchy. The closer you sat to the arena, the higher your status was. We see this today with tiered seating, VIP boxes, and ticket pricing. Even though it's not as obvious as ancient Rome's, the idea of a structured audience hierarchy continues to define how we design and experience public events.
Beyond architecture, how did amphitheaters shape community life, and do we see that same effect today?
Yeah, so the idea of a mass audience gathering to watch live performances or competitions began in Roman amphitheaters. They brought together thousands of people from different backgrounds to share common experiences. Amphitheater events weren't just entertainment, but they built identity and unity. This tradition lives on today in sports, concerts, and festivals. When people gather to cheer and celebrate, they're part of something bigger than themselves. Entertainment still connects communities and drives our economy, from ticket sales and advertising to tourism and merchandise. Just like in Rome, it reflects who we are, what we value, and how we come together.
Roman amphitheaters are some of the greatest achievements in architecture and engineering. They reflected the values of their time, discipline, spectacle, and unity, and continue to influence how we design spaces for public life today. From the Colosseum to the arenas of Orange and Nîmes, these structures remind us that architecture is more than construction. It's a reflection of who we are, how we gather, and what we celebrate as a community. The Romans built amphitheaters to entertain, to inspire, and to last, and their legacy still echoes in every modern stadium around the world.